to begin with, you can all hear me? It's okay? Yeah? And I'm going to start with saying it's a great honor to have you here, Isabelle. And I want to thank you for joining us in this masterclass for a conversation. And I think it's great that RIFF is honoring you for your excellent career. And I know you came straight from the president, didn't you?
Indeed.
Did he treat you well? I hope so.
Yes, they already gave me an award, so that's
very good. You've acted in around 150 films.
Oh, no, not 150 films, no.
100?
Not even.
That's a
no,
number.
I was going to 150 films. It looks like we were like 30 years ahead. We are still in the present.
Yeah. But how many films have you been in?
I don't know, I have no idea.
When did you stop counting?
I never started.
But I guess that great many of them we've seen, amongst all of us, we've seen great many of them, and we will have some questions from the audience later on. But I just want to start with asking you a little bit, can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you started at a very young age acting?
That means very recently, yes.
Last year, was it?
Sort of. I always start. Yeah. That's what's nice about doing what I do. You feel you always start. It comes from nothing each time you do it.
So every character is a different journey and a new journey for you.
What?
It's a new journey.
Oh yes, well, yes, of course, yes.
And we've got films here at RIFF. The latest one, you travelled all the way to Japan.
Yes.
How was it for you?
Well, it was wonderful because it was almost like a road movie. We shot in Tokyo, not in Tokyo, no, in Kyoto, in many towns, in Kobe, in Nara, and so we went from one place to the other, and it was interesting the way to, well, not to discover the country because I've been to Japan many times before, but you follow this woman going from one place to the other and discovering the country and in the meantime discovering kind of new life for her.
Almost like...
People haven't seen the film yet. No, it's being shown tomorrow. Right?
It's been shown tomorrow, yeah. I highly recommend it. It's a very beautiful film. Yeah. And in a way, it marks the end of grieving, and it's such a beautiful atmosphere in the film. It's a beautiful film, even though it's about...
yes, it's even though it's not about a really funny subject matter, let's say. But Elise Girard, our director, who happens to be here in the audience this afternoon, yes, manages to of course, to treat the subject as it is, which is about this woman mourning about her husband's passing away, but still discovering a new motivation to be alive. Yeah.
I know that a lot of people want to know how you choose your roles. Like, is it the scripts, the directors, everything?
Well, it's an ensemble. Yes, it's more the director. Yeah, mainly the director. Let's say. Yeah. It's always a, whenever I think an actor or an actress is being asked this question, it's because the question implies the fact that there will be an answer actually, but in fact, well, obviously there is an answer because you end up doing a film, so there must be an answer, and of course, but it's always kind of difficult to explain how or why you choose one film rather than the other. Well, certainly for sure it's the director and but I don't know, it's an intuition, an instinct. It's something. It's like you see something and you like it. It's hard to explain why you like it beyond all realistic reasons. A good script, good dialogue, good situation, good character. But there must be something more to make you believe in it and willing to spend 2 or 3 months of your life with these people and with with the character, whatever. Yeah.
So and I guess I want to talk a little bit more about that, the work with the director. I read
we can try.
Yeah, I read somewhere that it's more for you. It's important to talk about maybe just something else than the work, and share that it was almost like you described that it was a lot about marking the journey, the physical journey, so you could find your own freedom within that.
Well, yes, that's what it is about. Yes, of course, you want to find your own freedom, and yet you find your freedom within certain limitations and within a certain scheme, and but it's maybe this is how you find the freedom precisely because it's within certain limitations. But it's always possible to find that freedom.
Yeah. It's when I watch your films, it's been a masterclass for me, by the way, to just watch a few of them in a row. It's almost like you create your own little world of the character, but it's still in such a sync with the directors and the script, like what the scriptwriter has in his mind. How do you prepare?
I'm not sure I prepare actually. Yes, or because there is, when you make a film, it's very difficult to anticipate and to, because for me, I mean, not for me, for what it is, that's a good definition of movie making. Movie making is really about the present moment. There's nothing you can, it's not the minute before, not even the second before, not the minute after, not even the second after. It's right the moment you do it and you capture, and this is why it's so fascinating doing it, and this is also why you keep the excitement doing it, because it's something so fragile, it's like a candle light, moving like this, and you want to capture this moment, and so I'm not sure if you can really prepare. You just I think you can think about it. That's a good preparation, just to think about it and to let yourself being infused by what you are going to do. And of course, you always go through the normal process. The costume is part of the preparation, and this is always very telling and revealing about what you seek, about what you want to do, because the costume is always the first indication that you give to the viewer of how you are, whether you walk with high heels or flat shoes, and the body language, because it influences body language, and the body language is also very important. So let's say the costume would be the more concrete preparation, but apart from this. And then you have many different ways of doing. Some directors would like to rehearse, and some directors are not really keen about rehearsing, and they all have their own ways. I know maybe in America they would rehearse more, or read the script, and in France at least, maybe we are very lazy, so we don't. That's true. I mean,
you learn your lines?
Yes. Well, yes. If it is just a few lines, no, I don't really have to learn it. But then, the microphone is so sensitive. Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah, but the variety of your roles, they're so different, the characters that you play. And I was dreading watching The Piano Teacher, like really dreading it. And I felt awful afterwards, the whole day. And I was like, okay, and like tomorrow it's going to be better. Like, it really got under my skin.
I'm sorry.
I know, I suffered. No, but I was wondering, how's it for you? Like, is it technical for you? Do you enjoy it, or are you affected by it?
Well, that was a really easy movie to do, actually. Because Michael Haneke is very easy to work with. It's very, he takes cinema for what it is, which is something very pragmatic, very concrete. The emotion, all what you felt, and I'm sorry for you to.
I'm okay now.
It comes in addition to the making of the film, and the making, and of course it comes, because the making of the film itself is very, was quite easy actually, and very technical. Very, so, and it's the mixture doing movies. It's that very exciting mixture between something very emotional, something you can really control, and something extremely precise, having to take certain places, and those are the limitations, precisely. And it's the same on the stage, actually, in the theater. So, yeah, so Michael Haneke was very precise, again, more technically than emotionally, or because also I think that the actors they know more or less what they have to do also, you don't have to necessarily really explain things.
But then 8 women, completely different kind of role. How was that for you?
Yes, for sure, completely different. Well, the miracle on that film in particular was that the chemistry, we were 8 women, as the title says, and that was a big challenge for Saint-Laurent, the director, to have all these women being in tune and going the same way, and it did work very well from the very first day. The chemistry was wonderful between the 8 of us, and we immediately captured the spirit and what we wanted, and in the same way. That was, of course, the purpose to reach. And this idea of exaggeration with in each character's journey, this little emotional confession that was the other side of the medal, where they had their little inner whatever it is, inner soul, spirit.
But do you enjoy the comedy as much as?
What?
Do you enjoy comedy, doing comedy as much as?
Well, I never really shared between comedies and dramas. I understand why, again, people are a little good pupils for that. You have comedies, you have dramas, but I think when you do it yourself, you don't really. Because maybe in dramas you always have a little bit of comedy, and even in the piano teacher, if you take it, you have a certain sense of humor. I'm not saying in each frame, of course, but sometimes you have this kind of distance with a certain sense of humor, and in the comedy, like in 8 Women, you have all these moments for each of the characters with more emotion. So I don't make any difference. I can't say I prefer to do comedy.
You approach it in the same way.
I like both.
Yeah.
Everything. No problem.
What about the stage? How much have you done? I know you worked in the theater as well. Have you done?
Oh yeah, I do. Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Well, on stage I did also. I worked with I've worked with very prestigious people too on screen. But let's say on stage I've worked mostly and exclusively with people like Robert Wilson and Chris. We have a certain idea of theatre, and let's say we have a very very strong aesthetic and vision on stage. So let's say it was never really realistic. Well, theatre is never really realistic, but still, sometimes you have more realistic situations than others. And I've only, the majority of what I've done was more like almost abstract. Yeah.
And there was someone here just before that said that there were quite a lot of directors here, and that a lot of them were very threatened to work with you.
Yes? To work with me?
I think it's because you've done 1,050 films, like I said before.
Well, I should try on this.
Yeah, and you were open for new talent, and your instinct is quite good when it comes to.
I'm not very original, in most actresses' life, journeys, whatever you call it, yes, you always find yourself working with first-time directors, more experimented directors. It's an actress, a normal actress life. Yes, and yes, and I've worked with many times with first-time directors, and yes, with a good, I have to say, with a really good instinct. Well, I don't think these directors are. I'm not sure that the Icelandic public is familiar with these people, but they're all, really good directors who became major directors. Yes.
But what is it that you enjoy the most when you're filming?
Oh, I don't really care because when I was saying it when we started this conversation, saying that the idea of doing something for the first time, and it's the case. Yes, whether you work with experimental directors or first-time directors, it's the same. You even for someone who's done many movies before, you still do it for the first time. So it doesn't make really any difference unless the first-time director is particularly clumsy and really doesn't know what he's doing. So that's a different story. But it never really happened to me. And I never felt the need to be supportive of that clumsiness. I never found it anyway. So.
But do you enjoy the traveling part of it?
Well, it's not that I enjoy it, it's the reality of a life of an actress, and in fact it's a reality of life in itself. Your life, you meet people with a certain experience, and you meet people with no experience, and then at some point you don't even know what it means, experience, especially again in what you do. It doesn't mean anything. And it's like, if you act with a child, or if you act with a grown-up, or if you act with an amateur actor, or with a professional actor, at some point it doesn't make any difference. It's exactly the same.
Have you ever wanted to work with anything else than acting? Or?
Me?
Yeah.
No. What could I have done? I don't know. I'm not even sure I'm an actress sometimes.
What do you think you are?
Well, an actress, precisely, because I'm not sure. That's what it means, maybe. Yeah. But no, because it's, I always suspect, professionalism, and was it Godard who said, yes, when he received an award in the French, French Little Awards, and then he said this legendary line that was always quoted eventually. He addressed himself to the professional of the profession, and it meant what it meant. When you become a professionnel, which is I made a movie called Amateur with Hal Hartley, a very good American filmmaker. And amateur is a really interesting name, in fact, because amateur would mean, I'm not sure, well, in English, I think it's the same as in French. Amateur is amateur. It means being the contrary of a professional. But on the other hand, it also in amateur you have at least in French, not in English, aimer. So it's the same root. Being an amateur, aimer. So I always like this combination in the same way to love, but also to be the contrary of a professional. But to summarize, yes, I think being an actress in a way means also to be always an amateur, because it's always, being a bit not naive, but with a certain kind of innocence. You just you don't necessarily know exactly what to do, and that's why you do it well.
Yeah. But if you look back on your career, do you have a favorite or most precious director relationship or films that you can keep close to your?
No, I have so many. Of course, those whom you work with many times, like Claude Chabrol, yes, he was, of course, very precious for me, and Benoît Jacot, I don't know if people know here, I've done 6 movies with him. And there was a wonderful German director called Werner Schröter, and I did, well, only 2 movies because he passed away too early. And, but of course, when you do, when you repeat the experience several times in a row, or sometimes not in a row, but one after, it's always very precious and very, very special. Yeah.
Do you feel like you're director proof, or do you feel like some directors really know how to bring out the best in you?
No, but I know how to bring the best of them.
That's good. Yeah, that's good. I think because there were so many of us that we should open up for questions.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anyone here that wants to start? I'm sure someone wants to ask. Yeah.
Can you say more about what you mean with directors? Like, how do you bring the best out in directors?
Just because I'm very, very nice. And that's what they like about me. Very sweet, very light, very docile. Docile. It's funny English because when you don't find a word, you say with the English accent and it works. Which really, yeah, whatever. Anyway, docile, yeah. No, I'm kidding. But I'm not really kidding actually, yes. Yeah.
No, but that's what I thought. I thought he must be fun to work with, since everyone is inviting you to work with him all the time.
Not all the time, no. Too many. No, there are certain who don't ask me. What?
But if there would be a biographical film about you, would it all be on set? Or you have a family?
Oh no, there would be all the films I've done. Yes, in a way. But well, I'm gonna scare you by saying this, but what do you mean actually biography?
Like, if I would write your biography, like a film about your life, because there are so many of them, you must stay on set for quite a lot of time. But I know you have kids and family. Like, you've had a little bit of time to live the life outside of the set, haven't you?
I hope for them, yes. Just a little bit, yes, of course.
And how was it for you to kind of combine work and professional and personal life?
Well, I guess as it is for the rest of the world, not you know, it's the same.
Challenge.
Challenge? Well, that's certainly less for me than for some others. Yeah, I'm very privileged.
Are there any other questions here? Yeah. Here to start with?
Did you come into working on Elle with Paul Verhoeven with any expectations? Like, describe the process.
Do you mean Elle?
Elle,
Yeah.
with Paul
But you have to repeat the question.
Yeah. She wants to know about Elle.
Yes. What does she want to know?
Did you come into it with any expectations? Like,
Did you come into it with any expectations?
Elle. No. No, I was just expecting a very fulfilling encounter with Paul Verhoeven, which I got. He was really, really wonderful to work with. He really let me do. You know, he said, she's a woman, she knows more than I would do about anything in his stories. So that was easy. And I always, but you know, in those films I did, like Elle and The Piano Teacher, which were, let's say, a little edgy and on the razor's edge, even more so, of course, the Elle. I felt always completely protected by the directors, by the event, by Michael Haneke. Also by the story, I think, because the story, whether I'm drawing kind of a thread between the two of them, because of course there is something that you can, being reluctant to these two films, but I think on both films there is this idea of what I would call the part of innocence of a character, and that's very, very important, you know. So this innocence is not very easy to identify from the first place, you know. It's something that it goes almost unconsciously in people's mind, I think. But I think that's what finally operates in people's mind, which makes them accept and the subject, the story, the behaviors, the whatever it might look, as we say, difficult to swallow. Yeah.
There was another question here.
How do you differentiate between a good director and a bad director?
I have no idea if they were working with a bad director. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not kidding. I don't want to what? I don't know what I... No, yes, I know exactly. A bad director would be someone who tells you things that you don't want to hear, or that you don't, you know, someone who gives you bad indications. That's terrible. It's like bad. It's like indigestion, you know, like eating bad food. You don't want it, you know. And it happened. No, honestly, it never really happened. But sometimes you can be on the fringe of it, but it's easy to make understand to take a different direction. It takes a couple of days. And then he becomes a very good director. That's you.
So I was wondering, when you're working with directors, also writers, do you enjoy more working with directors who are sticklers to the script, to every word, or you enjoy having improvisation moments where you can really bring out your interpretation of the character and
Well, that's an interesting question, but I never thought about this working with the director, whether he was the writer as well, or also because in France, to be honest, most of the time the director is the writer or is the co-writer. He might not be the only writer, but he's certainly the co-writer, and the idea of the film comes from him. And so maybe it's not like even in the States or some other places where you would have the director and with kind of disconnection between the directing and the writing. It doesn't really exist in France, actually. And what was the second?
So, do you enjoy more?
The improvisation or strict line?
No, but you know, that's not the way it works. You know, sometimes I'm good at dialogues, and I know exactly how to shape a line or two differently. So just because I know exactly how it's going to sound, and of course, if the director is stubborn as a mule and they doesn't want to change, there comes a problem. It could happen, but it doesn't really happen, you know. And it's not about improvising; it's more like an improvement to improve a way of saying it. And sometimes, yes, I like to a little bit of real. Sometimes I need to do it. It doesn't mean that the dialogues are bad, but sometimes it's very strange. People don't exactly are not aware on how it would be said in life. You want to be real. You don't want to, you know. You just want to be real, and you want things to be said like that. People don't even pay attention to it. They receive the message of the dialogue, but they don't. And if the dialogue is not well written, so it's like in music, fake But not fake movie.
So that's how you improve actually the director's work. You're making
I have to say yes. Sometimes. Yeah. It's easier to do it in French than in Icelandic for sure.
So we found out your secret. You rewrite everything.
No, but sometimes I feel no, I don't rewrite everything. No.
There's a question there.
So in your experience, do you think the industry has changed, the film industry in the past couple of decades? Or, and yes, then how?
Not really, I think, in a way. For at least for the, let's say there is a certain category of films. I'm talking about my country, of course. I'm not talking about anywhere else because, but you feel like there is a certain, I don't know, a certain quality of films, or which very often now you hear about also films admittance or film success, and you hear this amount of people going to see the film. That would be different, like 15 years before, 20 years before. That's for sure. I mean, a certain category of film maybe has more difficulties to make its own way and to get made also to get. So that would be with the emergence of so many other the series and everything. It's so many other opportunities for people to watch images. So of course it threatens a little bit a certain type of films. Certainly. But not so much because I still do them. So.
I was wondering, how do you feel about rehearsals and obviously having a bridge between theater and film? Do you enjoy rehearsing to go into a film? Do you enjoy showing up on set and getting into it without the rehearsal? And what's your process?
I work with Maurice Pialat, who is a great French filmmaker, did this film Loulou with Gérard Depardieu. And Pialat was very pessimistic, he was always very lacunar and it was terrible. But not always, and it was always sometimes very nice and very smart. And he once said, with his sense of optimism, something so funny and so true. He said, he was complaining and said, unfortunately, the best films, you'll never get to see them because they are those which happen before action and after cut. Okay, Maurice, okay. So that, of course, made us very good humor, but he was right in a way. And that's my one way to answer your question, which is, no, I don't like rehearsals because it's precisely you and sometimes oh my God, I hear actors rehearsing and I said, it hurts me. I said no, because I can feel it's so good, it's so nice. Then you say action and it's getting in place and it's a little less good because you lose that sense of not thinking about what you say, and. So no, I'm not too. Of course, it doesn't mean rehearsing is not maybe blocking. Maybe they have this funny word in English, blocking. I don't know where it comes from. Blocking, which means repeat the movements in the scene. But it's not like rehearsing. No, I don't like to rehearse. No. But sometimes some directors like to rehearse, so I pretend to rehearse. No, it's true, I pretend. I don't like
it. Can you tell us how early on in projects do you come in? If someone approaches you with a project and there's no script, does it happen to you sometimes to...
Everything can happen.
Okay.
Yeah. It can be a written script, it can be just an idea, it can be, really. Yeah, I've been doing 2 movies recently with the same director. One was Mama Weed, and one was The Syndicalist, and now we're working on our 3rd project together. So, but because we've been doing 2 other films together, I'm just coming with a concrete and precise example, and so now he has a very nice idea, by the way, I won't tell you what it is. But, so, and now, yes, he's having the script being written, and sometimes, like a little miracle, you have a wonderful script with a wonderful director, so it's nice, yeah. You know, it happens also like this, you know. But, and sometimes a script also requires or needs some kind of rewriting, or, you know, because it's, the script is a very strange tool of work also. It's not a book, it's not a film. Script is not very nice for script, because it's really something a big, I don't have the right words in English, but it's you know, it can't be completed. Well, of course you can have a wonderful script, yes, but it will always miss something in the script in a way. You know, you don't have the completed thing of a book or of a film. It's always, so it's not so easy to really appreciate a great script and a bad one. A bad one you still can appreciate it, but the really okay. But the good one is. There was one in the back here.
Yeah, I have a question about the film with piano teacher. Because before we just started the writer, co-writing, was Elfriede involved, and were you in touch with her, or kind of, because you're prominent and it's a very prominent book of hers and relationship to her mother?
Strangely enough, Elfriede Jelinek, she's not my best friend, but but I know her. I knew her. She was not involved in the writing of the piano teacher. Yes, she saw the film and she liked it eventually. But at the time we did the film, her mother had just passed away, and so she was very far from the making of the film. But I had met her and known her better before, because she co-wrote she wrote the script of Malina, this movie I was talking about with Werner Schroeter, this German director, which was based on Ingeborg Bachmann's book, Malina. And Elfriede was a great admirer of Ingeborg Bachmann, and she did the script for that. So at the time she came on set and we met, and but eventually I never, and then I got in touch again with her much later after the piano teacher, but not on the piano teacher. She was never involved. But I think she liked the film. Yeah, she was happy. There was a question there as well. Yeah.
Can you speak about Aung San Suu and this working methodology? How did you take part in that?
So what was the question? I understand Aung San Suu, but what was the question?
So it's a working method.
Oh yeah. Well, I just finished my 3rd film with Aung San Suu, and I did one first film which was in another country, and the second film was Claire's Camera that we shot in Cannes, and I just finished the 3rd one last June with him, and it was, as it was for the first, it was just wonderful. I mean, for me, it's a pure, it's such a rewarding and extraordinary experience, because Aung San Suu, you know, we know that cinema is this flexible kind of material that can go to million of dollars to make a film with like thousands of people. But cinema is also about, you know, having like one tiny little camera, and it's still cinema, because I saw his last 2 films, which are pure masterpieces for me, especially the one before the last. The last is wonderful too, but the one before the last is really the Rider. The title is very complicated. Come on.
It's a novelist film, right?
No, but the writer, the name, the title of the film, ah oui, La comédienne, le film et le hasard. The actress, the film, and the happy hazard, the happy chance, whatever. And this one is really, really great. And compared to the two films I did before with him, he went even further. He's become much more radical. There is no one on set now. I mean, only him. He does everything. He does the camera. No more cameraman. Well, a girl with la perche, you know, for the sound. And that's it. And the actors, of course. I have no idea what it's going to be about. You know, he would give the text. Well, on the other films, he would give me the text the day before, but this time he gave me the text the morning, and like 15 pages to learn, so that was really tough. And but he's really a genius for me. He's incredible. Yeah. So, and I don't even know the name of the film. On that film, I don't really know a lot. I just know that I did the film. Even that, I'm not so sure. But and this film was, you know, because in another country it was 9 days. I was meant to be there for a couple of weeks, at least 15 days. And after 9 days, he said, "It's okay, we finished." I said, "Okay." He said, no, you can go back to France. Okay, so I went back. And he said, because I have to spend 4 more days because now I have to make a short with the money they gave me to do the short, to do the long films. To do the short film. That was very funny. And Cabaret Claire was 6 days, and this was 13 days. A super production. Yeah. He's really extraordinary. He's unique.
Yeah.
What drives you when you see a script? Is it the details of, like, the nuances of the dialogue, or is it the story? What is it that really fires you up?
Well, of course, the story, the character, but what really hooks me is more the dialogues. But the dialogues, well, even though I said that sometimes I rewrite the dialogues and say, in the best case of you know, sometimes, I mean, most of the time, even if you want to rewrite one line, it means that in general the whole is good. But it's through the dialogue that you really feel the possible incarnation of a character. So, yeah, the dialogues. It's very difficult. Sometimes, you know, I don't even read scripts. No, it's true. I mean, the piano teacher, I had hardly read the script because my story with Haneke was the following. He first asked me to do the terrible one where the guy was killing everybody. So I was at the time, I was playing Mary Stuart in London. So he came to London to see me, and he gave me the script. And then I traveled with my family, with my children, up to the north of Scotland. And in the meantime, I had read the script, and I was, wow. I said, it's not possible, because compared to the script of the Funny Games, the piano teacher was like a telenovela, let's say, you know, it was like I don't know, a soap opera. It was so, there was no possible imaginary, I don't know, on any role you can draw your own imagination, you know. But because the project of the film was to really denounce how the violence was operating on the audience, it left no room at all for the actors. And finally, Susan. So I was traveling with my family, and I was in this little town up north of Scotland called Ullapool, and I didn't have a cell phone at the time, and I went in a booth, a telephone booth, and I said, Michael, I won't do it. I remember because I told him in Ullapool in Scotland, and he said, oh, Isabelle, I'm very disappointed. I said, yes, but I won't do it. But then Michael Haneke was, okay, so he did not, that's what I like about him. It's not, oh, she didn't do it, I hate her for the rest of my life, and it's not this time, because he's not a sentimental person to say the least. Which is good sometimes, because if you let yourself be drawn by your emotions, you become very silly most of the time. And that's not his case. So a year later he came back and he said, Isabelle, do you want to do, what was it? The Time of the Wolf. A movie we did together, a very good movie that was never really successful, kind of dystopy, that's the word in English. Dystopy about the world in the future where everybody does not exist anymore, or whatever. It's really wicked. And I said, Michael, I can do it, I'm pregnant. I said, okay. So 2 years later he came back, and no, he came first, and then the production went down. Then he came again. And then I said, I can't do it, I'm pregnant. Okay? Then he came with the piano teacher. He said, Isabelle, it's the last time. We won't do it. Okay. So I read the script, but not really, because I said, if I don't like it, I don't want to take the risk, So I read the script a little like this. I said, it's wonderful, I will do it. And then in the plane, I really read the script, and I thought, oh my God. It was too late, because the plane was already landing. So. And so was I. That's how it happened. It's not far from being true.
I just want to ask, how do you prepare for your characters? Do you write biography of the character, or what is your process of preparation?
To write a biography, it's not really my style. No, again, I'm not trying to avoid the question, the answer, no, the question, but I don't prepare in that sense, I just, for instance, if I think of my next film, I'm supposed to start in 1 week. How do I prepare? I think about it. I'm not so. It's like almost like a sketch of the film of the character was growing in your mind, really, And so now it's a little bit vague for the moment. I'm not quite sure what it will be. I'm still looking. I'm sure when I will start next week, it will arise. For the moment, it's not so clear, But I wait, I wait. I think about it, and it will at some point it will happen. So this is. I would say I prepare even. It's not really conscious. It's not even a conscious preparation. It just grows. It travels with me. It doesn't keep me from sleeping, from traveling, because I'm here, but I just think about it. Yeah. It's very mental, more than anything else. Yeah.
For people who are early in their careers, working with actors that sometimes don't have a lot of experience, it can be hard to make them present in front of a camera, and they can fall into what you were talking about earlier, of this performative space. Do you have any tips for us in directing actors and kind of helping them be more present and be more truthful in front of a camera?
I'm always very surprised on how people are at ease, on the contrary, in front of the camera most of the time. Especially people, who are being interviewed in the street, or I watch television and say, oh my God, it's like they're doing this all their life, They don't seem intimidated by, no way, very much. Even I couldn't do it, you know. So if the camera, I would say, I don't know, it's more the director's problem than if the camera is at the right place. Normally it should be possible to forget about it and to, if it is not. And I think the actors are very instinctive also. Almost it's something very not animal, you know, something that you can't really name, but you feel like also the camera is at the right position, the right distance, the right because cinema it's a language, so it's a way to speak and it's a way to listen and it's a way to hear, which is different to listen. So you have to trust that language. You have to trust it as a language, which has a lot to say, to understand, to hear, and it doesn't need to be really verbal, because it is a language. And you say different things, whether you feel in close-up, in full length, or whatever. So I guess for an actor, if this language is well outspoken, it gives you confidence.
Are there any more questions? Yeah.
Is there any difference for you when it changed from film to camera to digital? Did you improvise or like take more risk when it was when it's digital compared to
Okay.
I mean,
Okay. I have to say no. Sometimes I don't even know the difference, because I've been doing recently a couple of things in the other one, not digital, but the other one. How easy. I don't know. To be honest, sometimes on screen, I'm not even able to see the difference myself, you know, whether it's digital or screen. But I've been, for instance, I think Things to Come with Janssen Love, that was filmed. No, the only big difference, of course, is that digital you can make takes forever, because it doesn't cost anything, so you can make many takes. So it might change this a little bit from the director's point of view, because in films, of course, well, it didn't, you know, sometimes I've been doing so many takes. Also with mechanical, we would go up to sometimes 50 takes, and that was at the time film. That must have been so expensive. But no, yes, the big difference is there. You make more takes. You try. I mean, it's not for me; it's for the director. Me, I don't. It doesn't change anything.
Could you tell us about how you work to create connection with your co-actors?
That's a good question, because I've been only talking about me, because it's very selfish, and because the actors are only, you know, obsessed by themselves, and I don't do exception to the rule. I'm just kidding. But no, but it's a good question, because I'm also very generous, also very realistic, not only generous. I keep saying, and quote myself, I keep saying, no, to act is to act with someone. You don't act by yourself, of course. And that's essential. And there is, because I think acting is very, it's all about the rhythm. It's not about anything else, it's the rhythm. And of course, the whom you act with is essential for that reason. You know? Because if you are in front of someone who doesn't have the sense of the rhythm, so you can say something and the guy will wait like 30 seconds before answering, or on the contrary, speaking too fast or whatever. I mean, but it's essential, and it's so nice to perform with someone who, it's like dancing together. It's like doing the music together. It's really wonderful. Yeah, and a little painful when it's the exact contrary of that. But it rarely happens.
What do you do when it doesn't work? Do you have
and make it work for two.
Yeah, how are you usually approached about being in a new project, and how long does it take you to decide yes or no?
Well, sometimes when might be suspicious when it takes too much time to stay to make up your mind, you know. So it means normally if it was evident, obvious, it should be more easy. No, because choice is it's so it's really the it's so important. Of course, everything is in the choice. Once, can you stop? No, because yes, everything is in a way is decided when you choose. Then the rest is very, very easy. So it's very, very important. So because you have to make sure that, and if you choose with a certain reluctance or things, then you shouldn't do it. So it takes some time sometimes to identify exactly the reason why you want to do it, why you don't want to do it, why, because you know that everything is there. Then it's too late. So it depends. Well, I don't know. There is no rule. It depends.
Will there be another film with Michael Haneke?
That's a good question that you should ask him. Yes. Will there be another film with Michael? Period. Even without me. Even without me. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm not sure he knows.
Hi, I wanted to ask if you didn't do acting, what other career path would you choose?
I don't know. I have no imagination. Nothing. I think I would do nothing.
There's another film at RIFF, Mrs. Hyde.
Yes, there is Mrs. Hyde and then another one too.
Yeah.
They told me.
Yeah.
I don't remember which one. Ah oui, Madame Hyde. That was a strange thing, yes. With the second film I was doing with this very weird director, weird but very talented and very smart. Serge Boson, yes, I did, what was the first one? Tip Top, merci. Yeah, Tip Top, and then Madame Hyde. Yeah, there was a strange fantasy he had of this math or science teacher disappearing at some point. I'm not sure I ever really understood the film, but...
For how long are you staying in Iceland?
How long am I staying? Until Sunday.
Until Sunday.
Yeah.
And have you been treated well? Are you enjoying it?
So far?
Yeah.
A lot, yes, but I arrived yesterday, but this is my second time in Iceland. Been visiting your country years ago, yes, some years ago.
Was that for a vacation? Or yeah?
I went here with my younger child, and I traveled all over the country by myself.
But your next film, are you traveling for...
Oh, not far. I'm traveling to Bordeaux, 2 hours. Yeah. But Bordeaux is very, very lucky because I happened to know last night that Björk is going to go to Bordeaux. When she goes to Bordeaux, I'll be in New York, so I'm so disappointed. But we are very, very lucky to have Björk in Bordeaux and in Nantes and in other parts. And I'm going to Bordeaux myself to yeah. I don't know why everybody goes to Bordeaux. It's a nice town with good wine.